So, I'm a big fan of anime, and one of the animes I've been watching a lot of is Dandadan. There's just something about the way the show uses color, contrast, and especially with the characters' interactions amongst each other, and the relationship especially built between Momo Ayase and Okarun is something I had a lot of enjoyment watching and seeing move and progress throughout the show. And the entire narrative of Dandadan I find so interesting. Basically, the entire way the narrative works is Momo Ayase believes in ghosts while Okarun believes in the occult, believes in aliens, and they both disagree which one is real and which one isn't. Turns out both aliens and ghosts are real, and Okarun gets possessed by one and is able to use the ghost's powers to his will. Of course, there's far more to the story, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone that wants to watch the story. And what's so crazy is a few days after the show got released, it absolutely blew up on all social media platforms, especially the opening soundtrack of Dandadan. Of course, it absolutely hits really hard, but instead of talking about this too much, let's just go into the illustration of Dandadan. Now, with any illustration, we need to start off with a base, so I'm starting off with the rough armature and kind of adding on muscle density and really adding in the shapes to really, flesh out the body, and the character we're going to be illustrating is Momo Ayase from the show. Then after we finished with the base of anatomy, we're moving on to doing the clothing, and we're going to do the face last. And throughout the entire process of redrawing the characters from Dandadan, the one thing I realized is, especially the creator, I've seen he had quite a lot of fun with playing around with fashion, because throughout the entire show and manga, Momo Ayase uses different items of clothing and is an extremely fashionable character. And even with his own illustrations of the characters, the artworks he makes of his own characters, his own OCs, I see he really plays around with different fashion types, plays around with different clothes, textures, and to be completely honest, I had tons of fun texturing out the clothes and really making them look real and look like actual fabric, the way it stretches, the way it has different textures, the way the arm sleeves has those little lines on the fabric. It's something I had a lot of fun with doing and creating. And mangas have really been one of those art forms that have given me a lot of inspiration, especially with my own art. I often have tons of fun with doing fan art, and to be completely honest, fan art really allows you to open up your eyes to different designs and really come up with new ideas with illustrating your own stuff, because OCs are very hard to create. They're not easy. You need to come up with a plan, a base, and really create your own story narrative for your OCs. But with fan art, you love the OCs created by other people, so you do your own representation of them, and I find that really cool, and it can help you a lot with creating your own OCs and really opening up your eyes to different styles and different ideas created by other creatives. And Dandadan has been one of those shows I got completely obsessed with. I'm one of those guys that get very, very fixated on different types of media. When I was younger, I got obsessed with Minecraft, then I got obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's, and there's so many different types of media that I have so much enjoyment watching, and so many different types of media I enjoy playing, and Dandadan is my current obsession right now. I absolutely love the art, I love the story narrative, and I can see a lot of artistic flair with what the creators do with the show. And when I was watching season 2 of Dandadan, I had so much fascination just looking at the animation and seeing how much effort they poured into making it. Especially the fight scene between Gigi and Okarun was something I had tons of enjoyment watching, and just being so dumbstruck with how good the animation was and how much effort they put into both the color, effects, and the characters' movement and punches was so cool to look at. Now we're moving on to drawing Okarun. The one thing I really like about Okarun is the fact that he's your most stereotypical nerdy type of guy, and to be completely fair, he's extremely relatable, and that's what's really cool about this character. He's completely obsessed with aliens, that's the type of stuff that he is completely obsessed with, and many individuals that are obsessed with media are often seen as nerds, but Okarun is just downright one of the most stereotypical nerds. He has like big nerdy glasses, keeps like books about aliens with him everywhere he goes, but what's really funny is the fact that every single character in Dandadan that is possessed by a ghost and can transform into like their alternate cool version is a complete parallel opposite to who they are as a person. Like for example, Okarun, as I said beforehand, he's an extremely nerdy, shy guy, but when he basically transforms into his ultimate form, he's the most nonchalant, cool guy, absolutely aura forming everyone. And I find it so funny how he just can go between this cool guy and then go back to like the nerdy, shy version of himself. It's really funny to watch every single time. And I've seen it's quite a common trope for anime to take a protagonist and make them relatable for the audience, so people can kind of have a fictional character to look up to. Okarun is a stereotypical nerdy character for the other, individuals in real life that are, nerds, kind of like me, and it's quite nice to kind of see that media tries to create a little bit of relatability and really tries upping the cool factor of characters that are relatable to really kind of create that connection between the people enjoying the media and really being connected and drawn to the characters that are created, and I find that really cool to see. And when it comes to the entire ghost transformation, the one ghost transformation I like quite a lot is Okarun's one. Gigi's ghost transformation also looks pretty cool, but Okarun is one of my favorite ones due to the fact that his color scheme is both black mixed with red, and red is my favorite color, so it makes sense why I favor his transformation. But the entire aesthetic of the glowing strips going down his eyes, his extremely big kind of 80s styled hair, the red highlights in the hair, his big round glasses that cast those really cool reflections, and just the entire mask is something that looks so cool. And to be completely honest, he does have quite a lot of aura when he transforms into his cool nonchalant version, and just that aura and the vibe and his powers is just something I find so cool. The type of powers that he has is the ability to run at extremely fast speeds, and he has this one attack move he calls Going All Out, where he basically runs at extremely high velocity and basically dashes towards his enemy, throwing himself at the enemy head first. And because he's running at such fast speeds and he's so aerodynamic, he basically goes right through the person or just hits right into them, hammering them into any surface or just hitting them with such fast speeds that he goes straight through them. And to do this character justice, what we're going to be doing is making the character glow and adding a little bit of green highlights below it to really make this piece shine and pop. Now we are drawing the character Aira next. So in the Dandadan lore, dependent on what type of ghost you get possessed by, you can develop different types of abilities depending on what type of abilities the ghost has. Like Okarun has the abilities to run at super fast speeds, Aira has extremely strong acrobatic skills, and Gigi has the fighting capability of a pro fighter. And also, with the ghosts you get possessed by, you kind of have like features when you go into your form that shows what type of ghost you are possessed by. Like Ira has a really interesting face mask that looks quite similar to the ghost that she was possessed by. Okarun has basically a mask that goes around his mouth, covering his mouth area, allowing him to dash at extremely fast speeds. While Gigi has an eye above his forehead called the Evil Eye, representing the type of ghost he was possessed by. And when a piece of media does pay attention to the small little details, I often like it when they do that a lot because it really shows that there's a lot of care and effort being put behind the story, and many like big shows, movies, all that type of stories always pay attention to the small little details, and fans, often like super fans, they'll go into the narrative and try and look for the small little details that are put in the show or movie, and I always appreciate it when other stories do that. Like they add little tiny details to the narrative that just fit together so well, and I do appreciate it a lot from like an art perspective, like putting in a lot of small details to really tell its own story to the existing story that's being told. During the beginning of this video, when I was illustrating Momo Aisei, I was talking about the fashion that the creator had a lot of fun with, and I can also see it in Ira. Like, the entire fashion sense isn't really something I would have thought about when illustrating my own characters. That's why I said doing fan art can help you improve as an artist, because you kind of, like I said beforehand, playing around with different ideas by different creators. And like, for example, this entire like fashion suit I would have never thought of like by myself, but just drawing up like by myself and kind of taking the idea created by someone else and, you know, experimenting it with my own art style is something that's extremely fun, just playing around with and experimenting. And going forward in the future, I do want to play a lot around with fashion and really like get a little bit of a better grip, because the one thing I learned about like fashion items is there's different textures, and illustrating those different textures I'm still kind of practicing and trying to get a grip on, so I can do a much more better job with texturing items much more better in the future. And kind of doing fan art of a very fashionable character with a very textured outfit is really going to help me going forward in the future. Here we go, here's all the art pieces put together. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a comment suggesting any Dandadan characters you want me to draw in the future. Thank you for watching the video, and hopefully you guys can have a good rest of your day. Bye.